Good morning, everybody. I just noticed my webcam is off. So basically all I have to do in OBS is activate and deactivate, and the webcam comes on. I have a nut for Rhett. She's ready, willing, and able. And yesterday we had a very good day. We got our unit tests up to 100%, and now we're going to try npm start. We're going to try our Cypress end-to-end tests. I don't think we need any new ones. Run npm run Cypress open. npm run Cypress open. That seems right to me. Yep, and then it runs npx Cypress open. So if you were to look in my packages file, package.json, you will see that I have a Cypress open script. And that runs npx Cypress open. And I don't know about npx. I've looked into it a few times, and I think it says that you can install things without having npm or without having node or something. I don't know. I don't remember exactly. But the thing about when you run something in this format where you run it as like a npm command from inside of a package, you get it. You can be sure that it's running it in the context of the project. So it's going to run everything based on what's in the node modules of this project, as opposed to if I had like a globally installed. If I had something like a globally installed Cypress application, if I don't, it may or may not run it inside of the context that I want. I don't really know if it would or not, but doing it this way has just never led me wrong. It's just one of those things where it's just like I can't necessarily explain exactly why I like doing it this way. I feel like that was a pretty good explanation that I gave, but I'm not like 1,000% on that. But like I have a lot of experience, like 20 years of experience doing these sorts of things. So it's like in my personal experience, I used to like a big problem I used to have is if I had more than one Angular application on my project, if they had multiple versions of the oh, here we go, of Angular on my application. And this was even before Angular. I think I started running this problem even before Angular came out. But I wouldn't necessarily be exactly sure which libraries and everything are being used. So I started running everything in these scripts, and I've never had problems since then. So I just keep doing it just because it's like always worked for me, and that's it. Um, it might be worth revisiting and trying to figure out. So Cypress is now starting up. Now that was really fast. That was a lot faster than I was expecting. Um, all right, so I'm just going to run through all the Cypress tests at this point and just hope that they all pass. I'm pretty sure they will, but you can never be 100% sure. And that is kind of the reason why these exist, is because like it is just so easy to have unintended consequences or break things that you just never thought. Like you're like, how did this break that? I can't even begin. That's why I think that the major sticking point for most big applications is Cypress, like, or end-to-end testing. I don't know about Playwright. I've never used Playwright, but everything I've read about it sounds like it's very similar to Playwright. I like Cypress a lot just because Cypress has always been great. So I don't know why I would not. Um, I also interviewed for a job with them. I didn't interview for a job with them. I talked to a recruiter about interviewing for a job for them a long time ago, and man, did they had some hard questions, and man, have did they build some amazing stuff. Um, right, so resize looks like it's, oh, we're still going. Wait, why does it say 001? Oh, I think I noticed that last time too. It looks like it's like some kind of bug. So it's so funny that doesn't update the name of this. So reflow definitely ran, and apparently it took 6 seconds, but it says that 001 did. And it didn't used to do that. It used to have the right thing. So some sort of update, something broke that. I always notice things like that. I don't usually bring them up. Okay, so I think that I don't usually bring them up, and the reason I don't usually bring them up is because, like, I try to pay attention to them because a lot of times, like later on, if something's broken, you can be like, "Oh, I saw something like this earlier." Wait, so I wonder if I hit refresh. Yeah, see now it's right. The delete is right. And see, it looks like to me it did everything. I don't know if it ever went to the three. I thought we had coded it to go to the three. Maybe not. All right, let's go look in our Cypress scripts. I could have sworn we had a script that went into that three thing. So I'm just going to search in here, find in folder, and I guess three? Oh, three with two E's. Okay, so that's the aspect ratio. Delete. Click the add button. Click add button for three. Oh, okay, so that was to add for three visualizations. Select all. Click button for three visualizations. Yeah, I don't know what that is even doing. Select all three visualizations. All right, so let's go ahead. I guess maybe I didn't, and it's not unusual at all for me to think I did something and then I didn't. It's just sort of like the nature of all of this is to imagine things, and then once you've imagined them, they're kind of okay. So let's see. Does this have like if I don't have a CY data toggle data type on this, I probably did not click it. So we have an ID, Matt Toggle one button, which is a terrible name. Um, but yeah, it doesn't look like I do a CY. Curious, is there? Yeah, so all right. So what do I want to do? Okay, so it doesn't look like it. I thought it would show up in the delete. Now let's go back and look at other home CY is facing keyboard resize follow update. See, it feels like maybe this should be a routing test that it should click like ST and then we check this route, click this, check this route. Go here and see that this is checked. Go here. And see that that one's checked. I feel like that's the test that we're trying. That's the functionality that we want to make sure we do not lose after the next build, right? So like that's the thing is like it, this works this way. It would be hard to remember if this worked this way in the future, but if we add a thing to it, we'll know. So this is probably going to be harder than I thought it was going to be. So we want to go to, and this one doesn't look like it ever even goes to, okay, so let's go entities. Okay, so should go to entities route, to T's route, and check, and ST should be checked. And I'm just going to comment this out just to get started. So the other test that we're going to want to do, and I guess this is, yeah, I don't know. I was going to say this is kind of like that test-driven development, but not really, because I'm only working on tests, so I'm not working on development. Go to the data-entities, data-3. 3 should be checked. All right. Let's just make sure that didn't break anything. Doesn't look like it. This is what we're working on. We're not working on, we're working on routing. These are our new tests. All right. And now we're going to go to the places. And it's just so wild how, like, end-to-end tests, it just feels so natural. It's just like the most natural feeling thing. I don't think I feel like they generally try to get people who let's see, how do I want this? I want this to be over here. Like that. This is the look I like. So hit save and then it rebuilds. And we should end up, okay, and now we want to do the same thing but make this go to 3. And 3. And we're at 3. All right, so now the thing is I want to make sure that the ST, or that the 3 is, or yeah, well, in this test, what was it? I think it's, I can never remember how you make Cypress focus on. I always want to make it FIT, but that is not how you do it. What is the FIT equivalent? Equivalent. So that is misspelled. Equivalent to no, in Cypress. And then misspelled equivalent again. Equivalent. I guess I should say Karma Jasmine. So spies and mocks. Can Cypress? That's such a bizarre question. So it didn't work. But so in Karma Jasma, I don't think I've ever made heavy use of this before. You can put F in front of IT to focus. How do you do that? How do you do that in, what's the word I'm trying to think? In Cypress. Dot only, that's right. It's so different. That's why I can never remember it. So different. All right, so now I think we're focusing just on this one test. And on this test, the first part of it is to go to, well, we did not. Oh, data entities, that's right. All right, so then we want to find out, we want to target this one thing in here. So now what we're really looking for is like a way to know. So this thing is got this thing called map focus indicator, which I think is probably what we're looking for. So is this the right? So actually that's over here, right? So we're looking for this class on this button, right? This class has the focus indicator. I'm not 100% sure on this. And this class does not have a focus indicator, I don't believe. So over here we have a focus indicator. Where are you? Map button, maybe up here. Okay, that's both of them. We're trying to figure out, okay, map button toggle checked. That's probably what we're looking for. And see how this one does not have the map button toggle checked. So that's what we're looking for, but we need something to like to target. So like we need an indicator, and that's I believe well, first of all, let's find that. What is this? App data layout, it looks like, is where this thing lives. So let's go to source. Looking here. Well, find in folder. Let's just get rid of that completely. It always bothers me. I don't know why it bothers me so much to have that find in folder. I guess because a lot of times I'll waste time searching for something and I'm not even looking in the right place. I think it was an app layout, an app data layout. And then over here. So here are our two buttons, I think. Are these the two buttons? Button group, toggle group, yeah. All right, so we got toggle group, and then we have two buttons. We have a value, this button, and the way we do this is we usually will be like data, I believe it's data, CY data maybe? CY. So okay, yeah, data CY. So something along these these lines is what we want. And that just basically gives it a data that gives it an attribute that I can connect to. And for me, it's very obvious that this is for Cypress because it's got the CY. This should not affect any actual behavior. So this is toggle layout button ST. And then this one is 3. Here we go. And then now what we want to do is we want to do like a select to check that it's there. So we want to go back to our routing CY and basically, oh, see, we already have one kind of like this. Okay, so, and see, this is where I wonder, like I'm like, it sure does seem like it would have been smart to just start ChatGPT up instead of, um, so I could just say, okay, I would have already set up all the thing and then all the context, and then I could just ask it the question. But now if I want to go to ChatGPT, I'm going to have to set up the context. Where can I see why? Blah, 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 blah. Whereas had I started initially asking, I would say, well, how do I check for a class? I guess what we'll do is we'll just do this and see what happens. And then I think we can do 3, right? Oh no, never found it. Okay, that's weird. That is the name of it. And it's saying that it could not find one. Did I not save it? I didn't save the change. Button dash st. So it says it could not find. Button. I don't know if I can inspect for here. I think I can. I'm not 100% sure though. Okay. Where are you? Where you be? Where you be? Okay, let's close this little thing down here. And then click on this. And click on that. And what we're trying to find is data CY toggle layout button ST. And that's it right there. Okay, so I'm going to go back into my code. I'm just going to paste that back in there. That's right. And clicking should be fine, I would think. And I think it's still waiting. Yep. For some reason, it cannot find this button. Okay, what if I get rid of the click? I don't think the click is the problem, but this is so funny. So get, because I never ever have these problems, right? This is not a problem. It's there. It is definitely there. Hmm. It's saying it could not get toggle layout. Did I do? Okay, I don't know. Rows, tabular, get rows icon should exist. Yeah, so basically we want to say that this should exist. Yeah, it looks like it's still hanging. That is so weird when something just doesn't work. You're just like, I don't know, just doesn't work. All right. I guess we'll go to ChatGPT. Okay, so I have this code. Biggest problem with the AIs is that, honestly, for me, the biggest problem is they just make stuff up. If it didn't just make stuff up, it would be a much better tool. But it'll just make things up. I'm pretty sure that's by design. Let's see. Well, maybe I was in the wrong place because this seems like this is where it should be, right? Toggle. Oh, no, there it is. Data CY. Okay. Okay, so I have this code. This is the hard part with ChatGPT. Okay, so I want to target it. Target this element with Cypress. Just give it like a wide open thing. It's going to give me a lot of information back, but you know, I'm pretty darn ignorant in this stuff, so man. Okay, so it's saying that I should do this. And is that different than what I had? I feel like that's exactly what I have. Ah, data CY. Oh my gosh. What a silly rabbit. All right. I thought that I was like the suspicion that I was okay. Should exist. All right. I think that was my problemo. All right, so it exists now. We know it exists. Silly rabbit. Okay, and now okay, so I just want to I wonder if it can help. I wonder if it can help me. I'm going to give it oh wait. Okay, I want um to check if it is populated, if it's selected. Now this is purposely broad so that maybe because it probably knows a better way to do this than I do. Okay, and this is exactly what I thought. That is funny. That was like I was looking for that class and then instead of should exist, we should have this should is checked. And I have a pretty good it's like you kind of have to tell yourself, okay, how deep do I understand this? I feel like I have a pretty deep understanding of this. Now we want to get the 3 one now. And then dot click. I don't even think I need the second one. Okay, what's happening? It's being really slow, I think. Oh, I was looking at the wrong one. I wasn't looking at the. Oh, silly rabbit. Silly Billy. So yeah, I was looking at this browser over here, not this. Okay, so that did work. And now we want to, okay, this, it looks like, yeah, we want to check that data 3. All right, that's awesome. Okay, so I guess we do want two of them, but we just want to reverse everything. Okay, so let's go ahead and get rid of this one. Let's get rid of the copy. Control X, go down here, Control V. Boom. I did not think we were going to have to do any end-to-end tests, but I feel good about this one. Okay, so this one took us straight to 3, and now we want to get we want to do this exact line, right? Exactly this line, but we want it to be 3 instead of st. So the suffix of this one down here is st at this button name, or this data attribute is st, and we want the one with the suffix of 3. Looks like we're good, and then we want to click it, but we want to click the st one. Whoa, why did this? Oh man, I don't understand why this one passed. Okay, that's weird because that is not the right. Okay, we're going back to here, and Cypress works so nice. Okay, good, it did fail. I was like, why did that not fail? What were you thinking? What were you thinking? All right, now back here again. Get rid of this one. Ooh. And then this should be data dash entities. There we go. Oh, what? Wrong one. This one. Oh, we never. Oh, I missed a step. Missed a step, everybody. Forgot to click our ST toggle. So this clicks the toggle on ST. Right now, that is it. I think that's it for CY. Oh no. What happened? It did it. It did it, but let's go look. Expected entities, but I misspelled it. Apparently. Oh, I'm missing a slash. That's weird. That's so weird. All right, here's our. Like, why did this one work, but this one did not? That is weird, right? That's weird. Oh, no, I don't know. Does that pass? Oh, I don't like that at all. I don't like this inconsistency between this one on line 34 and then this one. Like, why do you need the slash in one run case, but you don't need the slash in another case? It could very well be the way, maybe it's the way I coded it. Okay, so this will be current route service. So when you click it, what happens when you click these things? Checked, ST. Okay, why am I not seeing the clicked behavior? Oh, layout change. Okay, so it looks like we do this layout change. So I'm going to click there. That'll put me in the right here, and then layout change. Entities, set current route. We use the current route service. We set it. I don't know. Everything's so abstracted away, it's really hard to tell. Router navigate. So I'm gonna set a console log in here. I'm guessing the detail type is coming in different. Okay, URL, comma, and then routing. So this is definitely something that, like, since it's, I mean, we've been doing this for a long time, so it's not early, but since it's so primitive, since we're so like at the beginning, we just, I wonder if this shows your console logs. I'm a little nervous that um, F12 console log, that this could end up leading to problems in the future. So data and 3, yeah. So there's nothing we're doing weird, right? Like it's just two strings. There's no slashes. I have no idea why we need one. I do think it's worth. Here, let's get rid of this console log. I think it is worth just sort of asking ChatGPT to see if there's any, like, if a bunch of people have run into this sort of issue before. I don't think so. I don't think that's that big of a deal, but I feel like you do need to ask at least. Now I'm trying to figure out where it is. Where you be? Where you be, sir? There we go. Okay, so I have these two tests that are both passing, right? We have these two tests that are both passing, but it's odd that the data that it's slash data 3 versus, or data 3 versus slash data entities. Okay, so and I guess we should double check that that is actually true. That'd be funny if it isn't actually true. Let's just double check before we start asking weird ass questions. So that looks good. Number 2 looks good. We care about like 5 and 6, I think. Oh, it is slash data 3. Okay, I like that a lot better. Okay, so it wasn't. Okay, so I don't know. Sky, it's just a problem. This one is just a problem spec. All right, so in the future, if we change anything on the way that works and we just inadvertently break it, or we just change something and we're just doing things a different way, we'll get another chance when we get here to see that how it should have worked. Um, so now let's just start, make sure, because we did make a couple of very trivial code changes. So let's just make sure that none of those broke our other ones. And then we're ready to commit this code, push it, and then talk a little bit about how. See, I think that one must just, oh, we're on 7. Oh, we're on 7, delete. Um, is it stuck? Did we break something? Kind of seems like we broke something in delete. I don't know what is happening. Maybe I accidentally. Okay. Oh, no, okay. We weren't in 7. Okay, so that was the the same thing that messed me up before was like, this is not correct. I never noticed before, but the URL up here is correct, the path. So you click this and it actually goes the right one, but for some reason it remembers the old delete. Which is a silly Billy. Probably a pretty easy fix, I would imagine, but maybe not. Never can tell. It just depends on what they optimized for and how they like what issues they were, foreseeing, and then like making abstractions to make certain things that are extremely complicated that you don't want to have to try to reinvent the wheel all the time. Like uh you do that, but then sometimes you make it extraordinarily difficult to do something that would be really simple otherwise. But a lot of times you do that because you have something that's going to be like people are going to screw it up every single time. It's going to be a 10 and 10 in difficulty, but it's going to be and so you optimize it to keep that simple, but then you have something that you always have to redo over and over again. Or maybe you don't want to redo something over and over again, but you make something very, very complex. Like there's always, trade-offs. It's computer programming is no different. There's always trade-offs. There's no concept. There's no individual concept that you can just apply and decide that, okay, now everything's simple. And it's like people tend to like choose. So this was 7. They tend to choose optimizations just based on their personal experiences, not necessarily based on um, what is going to have the best outcome for the code that you're working on. And I guess that's probably just because we get very, very, very good at optimizing for individual things. It's weird, because this thing is still firing off. I'm thinking it's still testing, but it looks like it's done testing. Okay, so that was update. This is our routing one that we just did. So funny, I came with this whole naming system and I don't even know what the whole idea was. It looks like I have like zeros and no tens, 100, 200. So I don't know. I don't know what I was doing. I think 200 was supposed to be like for very, very specific individual ThreeJS type things. I don't know. Did I give myself at least a? Yeah, I didn't even give myself any notes or anything. He probably should have put a README right in here that described what this numbering scheme means. See, I think 101 is also supposed to be routing. And then like 201 is like if there's a specific ThreeJS property or ST property that I want to make sure always works a certain way, then I think that's what that 200th version do. And then I think 000s are supposed to be, or 00 things are supposed to be like primitive tests that are like, I guess end to end, like actually do like full blown end to end stuff. I don't know. I can't remember what I was thinking. I could probably go back and find the old videos. Anyways, looks like we are ready to do a commit. Let's see how long is this video? 44, 45 minutes. Okay, I'll take a couple more minutes to do this commit. So I'm going to kill this. We're done with end-to-end testing. And for some reason, it does not want to shut this thing down. I don't even know what it's doing. Okay, so if I did shut it down, kill that. All right, so let's just go through and make sure we don't have any stray things. This is all testing stuff, right? So we have unit tests and end-to-end tests. It's just like I actually 100% could just skip all the three login, like the three visualization here, so we can see what kind of three objects still exist in the system and all that. Make sure we don't get memory leaks and stuff like that. I know I could blow that off, but I just know I'm going to need it later. All right, I don't know what this is about. Let's go ahead and get rid of this. It's just like 2 weeks ago, I said publish the count. That was, oh, wait. No, that was, okay. Yeah, these were the comments that I put in. I'm really glad I did this. I'm really glad we did this. So these are the four constants that we put in here. Or comments that is what we're trying to do with the threes. So basically all we want is a count in the dictionary going to 3. Now what I haven't figured out is how I want to play them, put them out. But for now, we're going to do it this way. Though just the way 3 data is stored is very, very different than the way ST data is stored, I think. I don't know. Now I'm not sure. Okay, so let's go ahead and add this one. We're going to add this one. And I believe this was all refactor. I don't think we added any new functionality. I believe I had started to move down the path of adding the 3 view here and realized, oh man, these things need to be broken down into lower levels. So anyways, now let's go ahead and commit this. And I don't remember what video. This is like a lot of videos. I'm desperately trying to in my mind, I'm trying to figure out I haven't like this. Let's face it, this really isn't much about ThreeJS. It's almost exclusively about Angular. Angular has just sort of absorbed all of the interestingness in this because, and I think it's probably because, I really do need to stay on top of Angular for my job, whereas ThreeJS is just a hobby. Um, Now, the hobbies are insanely important. But anyways, this is 495. I was like going up and finding what my last video. So 488 was the last one. So that was exactly a week ago. 495. Partial, and we're going to say this is unit and e2e testing. Creates components for ST entity view. So yeah, that makes sense to me. It's still partial, but we're going to start like another round of actual coding to flesh out this ThreeJS stuff. And that will start first thing tomorrow. And man, this is a perfect example of like trying to decide between technical debt. Like I know I need to address the ThreeJS stuff. I mean, address ThreeJS data structures that we're storing. I need to be able to have some way to look at them. Um, but I could just kick that down the road. But I do think that it will be harder in the future to build this out. Like this is one of those things where it's just like organic decisions are going to need to be made along the way. And if I don't make those organic decisions, they'll be almost impossible to figure out when I do finally decide to do it. Anyways, so that is committed, and now tomorrow, I guess what we'll do, we already do, I think, right? We do publish. No, we do not publish the dictionary. See, I'm like, oh man, why don't I just publish my dictionary? and I probably will probably add that. I'm so much more comfortable with signals now, so I'll add a signal for this, and um, and then and two signals, all like a whole dictionary signal. I kind of wish this had been a signal. I don't even know if it's a problem. See, it's private. Create scene, add message scene, get scene by ID. Okay, so I don't really even provide a way to get all the. There is no way. Okay, so I think it, since it is private, I don't see any reason not to. Nobody is using this right now, so I don't see any reason to not make it a public signal. And then update the code in here. That is such a nice thing about it being private. Um, is I know that this is the entire scope of the code that I need to change is inside of these 35 lines because this is private. There's no reason not to do this though. Now if I did this right now, if it wasn't private, then I would need to do like a search. Or actually, I wouldn't even need to do that. I could just change it or whatever. I would probably, the next thing would be to like change this, like just change the name and then just look at the transpiler results and see what's broken because it would tell you everything that's broken. So the scene service line 15 is broken. And then, oh, and then this is just telling us that it's declared there. And then line 29 is broken. So these two are the only lines in the entire application where it's broken. Um, and then, yeah, so if I made it a signal, and really this needs to get strongly typed and then a signal, then it would make, I believe, I'm under the impression that it would make rendering things in this component a lot easier because I could just listen for the signal in an effect and just render what I want. And if I could write my template out just right, then I probably wouldn't even need to have anything in my TS other than some code that tells it to inject the scene service. The scene service. Anyways, happy coding, everybody. Have a wonderful day. Bye.